Two companies sail along the coast of Norway, Hurtigruten and Havila. They go to the same places, but which should you book with if you're coming to Norway? After sailing with both, I'll let you know who I'd book with now and what might change that decision in the next few years. Before diving in, I should make clear my opinion is based on sailing with Hurtigruten in July 2024, from Bergen to Kirkenes and back to Trondheim, and then with Havila in March 2025 on the full voyage from Bergen to Kirkenes and back. Let's talk first about the heritage of these two companies on the Coastal Express. Hurtigruten first, well, they've been operating on the route since 1893. In fact, they even have their own museum which you can visit whilst on the Coastal Express. It's in the town of Stokmarknes, and if you go inside the museum, you can see one of their old ships from the line. What about Havila? Well, they have a much shorter relationship with the Coastal Express. They first began operating on the route at the tail end of 2021. So look, if heritage is really important for you, there's little doubt the winner on this one is Hurtigruten. Woohoo! So what about the ships themselves? Well, the Hurtigruten ships do feel dated. Their oldest one on this route was built in 1983, their newest in 2003. I sailed on the MS Nordkapp, which was built in 1996. It felt dated and built for a different age of travel. Havila's ships feel much more modern. Not a surprise really, after all they only joined the Coastal Express in 2021 and the newest ships didn't even start on the route until 2023. They're also environmentally much better, so I think it's fair to say that Havila win for now. Woohoo! But with Hurtigruten, it's a case of watch this space. They've a C0 initiative which aims to have their first zero emission ship ready by 2030. Perhaps I have to come back to the route then and see what those ships are like. As I compare these two companies on this video, I'd also like to know about your experiences on Havila and Hurtigruten, and if you disagree with what I'm saying, or maybe you even agree. Probably the most important room for you when on board the ship is the cabin. I found both to be reasonably similar. Very comfortable beds, good storage, heated floor in the bathroom. But the Hurtigruten cabins, on my experience, were a little smaller and yes, unsurprisingly felt a little bit more dated. My Havila cabin was much newer and felt bigger. I have to say though, I slept well in both. But really, once again, Havila wins here. Woohoo! And so to eating on board, and once again we'll start with Hurtigruten here, and breakfast and lunch are buffets. Buffets come with two problems for me. Number one, some people have different cleanliness ideas to others and think their hands can be used to touch certain food. Also, the amount of waste that you see with people eating buffets. In the evening with Hurtigruten, it's a sit-down meal. With Havila, it's slightly different. Breakfast is a mix of tapas and buffet. Some of the stuff you go up and select yourself, but others, like bacon, like eggs, you order individual little dishes and they come to you. If you feel like you need more than you're being given, you can order once again. Lunch is very much tapas style. You order your little bowls, they come to the table, and if you want more, you can order more. The evening meal, just like on Hurtigruten, is a sit-down meal with a menu. One of the great things that both share is the food is sourced locally. Away from eating in the main dining area, you'll have fine dining and cafes, and I have to say there was little difference between both companies. Overall though on the food, I'm going to give it to Havila for two reasons. I thought their food was marginally better, and I also really like the tapas idea, which I hope Hurtigruten and other companies copy in the future. It seems a great way to stop food waste. I have a few more videos to come from my time in Norway on this channel, including travelling on the overnight train from Bergen to Oslo. Then it's off to Germany and visiting an incredible island off the coast. To not miss out on those videos, make sure you tickle the old subscribe button while watching this video. What about the onboard experience? Well, both companies have lounges with big windows and comfy seats. Both have talk areas, events and onboard lectures. You can have an Arctic baptism, and yes, I didn't try it just once. I tried it twice.
Oh my God!
You can also have a little drink before visiting Trollfjord to find the trolls. And yet again, I didn't try it just once. I tried it twice. On Havila, away from the main eating times, you also have the opportunity to try foods from the local area. On both ships, you'll find a sauna. You'll also find a gym on both. I'm not a gym user, but looking at both, I would say that Havila's was bigger and better equipped. In fact, they had 2 on their ship. There are also hot tubs on both ships, and I would say my only criticism of either was that Havila's was a little bit more exposed than Hurtigruten's. So if you're wanting to be a bit more bashful, you probably prefer Hurtigruten's. Overall, my comparison between the two would give the win to Havila for the food experiences, and also there's much more seated area around the ship where you can sit and watch Norway slide by. In just a minute, we'll come on to the price I paid for both of my voyages. But before that, I want to mention apps. Hurtigruten has an app, Havila doesn't have an app, or certainly I couldn't find one when I was looking for it. Therefore, if having an app that works while you're on board is important to you, you have to give the win to Hurtigruten. And so to cost, probably the most important thing for all of us, right? Well, first of all, I should say I booked an all-inclusive with a cabin. I booked them both about 6 weeks before travelling. My trip with Hurtigruten was in a peak time of year. It was in July, but it was for one less night. Also, when I booked my voyage with Havila, I got an onboard credit of around 2,000 Norwegian kroner. What that is the equivalent of in pounds, in dollars and in euros is on the screen now. So let's get to exactly how much I paid for my voyages with Hurtigruten and Havila. Starting first with Hurtigruten, I paid 4,938 euros. And for Havila, I paid £3,199. Now, like I said, I did book in July to travel, so I'd assume that would be a little bit more expensive, but I did spend a bit more time on board the Havila ship and also got the credit. So I've got to give the price to Havila. With all that in mind, who would I book to travel with on the Coastal Express next time? Well, Havila. At the moment, it would definitely be Havila. The ships are more modern, the food I felt was better, and actually the overall experience was better. Hurtigruten, though, is still very good. It's kind of comparing a 4-star and 5-star hotel. There's not a lot between them. Now look, Havila were brought in by the Norwegian government to create competition on the Coastal Express, and they've clearly done that. What it felt like is that Havila had been on the Hurtigruten ships many times and then created their product out of it. Now Hurtigruten appeared to know it can't trade on its incredible heritage, and as I discussed earlier in this video, they have plans for new ships in the next few years. And frankly, when they do that, I'll definitely try and come back and compare them to what I've experienced on these 2 voyages. Whichever though you do decide to travel with, if you've got the time and money, definitely consider doing the Coastal Express in Norway. It is a fantastic experience. You can see more videos from my time on board the Havila and Hurtigruten ships on the screen now.